help me to understand what is. There's so many indictments, and the thing that we all know that none of this, all of this is political. Uh, Very little of this has even any standing. I even saw legal analysts trying to. They were actually having like Casey Kasem rank the top indictments in order,
right.
Which ones they thought had a chance, and they narrowed it down to 4, then they narrowed it down to 2. They thought had a shot at something. That the rest of it's just all a bunch of noise. But the people.
I think he's been overcharged in the Atlanta and the Georgia case.
Yeah.
They're charging him under RICO, which is the racketeering charges that's made for mobsters.
Yeah.
I think that may be an extreme response to somebody who is the sitting president of the United States, who is concerned about voting irregularities that had been reported to him in the state and how close the election was.
Well, I also have to say, if I am related to the Biden or Clinton administration, I can't, with a straight face, be involved with charging anyone with being involved in mob-like activity. I mean, I just...
Well, this is the new thing.
I can't even... I'm like, let's don't do that one. I don't know that I could... it's going to be hard for me to keep a straight face on that one.
Well, you can see there's a problem, and I don't know how you fix it. The Department of Justice, the leader of that is appointed by the sitting president. So the Department of Justice is supposed to be independent. They're supposed to be blind to politics and all this. But you see there's already a problem when a sitting president appoints the leader of that.
Right.
Maybe that needs to be more independent. Maybe, I don't know how you get to that point. But there's got to be some way to have some more isolation there, because it certainly looks like, and in both cases, okay, the Department of Justice appears to kind of show favoritism to the administration. Okay. And we've seen on both sides, and we've had it before, not just now, but we can look back through history and you see some of that. So to give the public and we the people more trust in that fine organization, there probably needs to be more independence in it. And I don't know how you get to that point. I don't know what we do, what it would require to do that. But in the Atlanta cases, it looks like it is a lot of overcharging. Rick, we haven't had mobsters charged like this in Atlanta before. So I think a lot of this, you see the pattern. If you'd have had 1 or 2 indictments, you might go, okay, well, these may be credible. But it's clear that the plan has been to avalanche Trump and throw so many things at him. You either break him with lawyer bills, or you tie him up so he can't campaign. If you look at the schedule, the way the court and if you ever heard a prosecutor say, we want to hurry up and get this to trial, never. Okay. We have the guy on the January 6th trial wanting to speed. Hey, I want to start this right away. Well, he wants to get a conviction. So Trump, part of the penalty will be cannot seek public office.
Of course.
Trump is trying to slow it down so he could possibly be elected by the time this comes out. Thus, some people say he could pardon himself.
Right, yeah.
Now, he can't pardon himself on the state charges like in Georgia. So I think they have just thrown so much at him. The woke crowd and liberal judges have just run amok with our judicial system anyway. So will they put up with this? Will they allow this? Or will they admonish the prosecutors for going totally off the farm with this? Now, if you think Trump did something illegal, the way he talked to the Secretary of State, the way he asked about the votes, you certainly can have that debate. But the racketeering part of this is just absurd. And I think most legal people are saying that too, which may hurt their case all the way around.
Isn't it interesting? Because all of us in our own lives, if given the ability to pardon ourselves, we do.
Sure. We do every day.
Right. I mean,
on some level.
That's what I was talking about that over the weekend. So that's why you have to have accountability, because maybe y'all are better people than me, but I find myself telling myself I'm just fine. And whatever I'm doing, I'm sure go right ahead and do that if you want to.
And they have afforded the former president not having to be mugshotted in the other cases. Now, I understand, and I don't know if this is true or not, they are going to make him give a mugshot in Atlanta, which will only be used for fundraising. And again, I think if you're a political opponent of Trump, you're playing this totally the wrong way. You think to bury him under legal problems is the way to go. That's only galvanizing his support. Look at the polls. I mean, he even jokes about it. Every time he gets indicted, his numbers go up.
Yeah, and I'm hearing it, and I know we're running out of time here, but that last point you're making is such an interesting point, because those on the left that are just, they have this Trump obsession. All you're doing, the strategy you're using right now, you have put yourself in a strategy that if you can't get him indicted and get something on him where he cannot run, you have only created an opponent that's going to be much more difficult to defeat than you would have had if you just left him to himself.
And
you've made a huge mistake here. Now, you better get what you're after, because if you don't, America's going to reject what you tried to do.
And we're going to have a constitutional issue with Trump being a legitimate candidate for president, leading the polls in his party, and at the time of one of the indictments was leading the current sitting president. So it looks like the current sitting president sicked his DOJ on Trump, full banana republic, if you will. And if you're running for office, you're allowed some things to do that you normally don't get to do, and we're going to have a problem with that.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.